And to you.
Is there any public comment?
No.
I would say no, okay. We have an Arts and Culture Commission Public Arts Subcommittee from April 28th. I don't recall us meeting on April
2025.
Hello,
There you go.
so sorry, a year ago, made that special.
That's why it might not be fresh in your mind.
That's not, and I see all these people on here who are no longer on the commission, so I get it. Well, anybody want to approve those meetings from April 28th?
I don't know that I
2025? You
because I
can't
wasn't
because you
here.
weren't there.
Yeah.
You can, just to clarify, you can
Okay.
vote if you were not at the meeting.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. to know.
That's up to you.
I thought you had to abstain. No, no. Okay, I move that we approve the minutes.
And I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any recused? All right, they're approved. Thank you for putting all this together, by the way. Christina, thank you very much. Okay, let's do a little roll call. Charlene O'Keefe. Here. Jim Williams
Here.
and Renee Ricketts. I am here. And do we need to name anyone else who's in the room? Like you, Stephen?
No,
Okay,
I don't think so.
alrighty. So, I wanted to let you know that I get, this is having to do with the, my chair's report. I got to attend, as did Christine, the ribbon cutting for the East Region Crisis Stabilization Unit, which was awesome. Even more awesome, though, was going inside and seeing it, and I believe you still can.
I saw it online yesterday.
It's awesome. It's really, really a boon to District 2 for us to have that. It's an amazing infrastructure, and they're all over the county. You know what? District 5 has one in Oceanside also.
This is stabilization.
Yeah, and if you just Google crisis stabilization unit, sometimes they're called something different because they're attached maybe to an inpatient hospital in some way, but all 8 of them will show up. So about the public art, because they are still hiring people, and there was a ribbon cutting, but there has not yet been they're not open for business yet. So you could still go in and see it, and it's quite lovely. The whole place is like, I think I want to go here for vacation. I don't think I qualify, but maybe. Okay, I do not have any other reports at this time. So let's forget about not forget about, but 3C, we can hold off. Can we just go to 4? Refresher on Arts and Culture Commission's recommendation for the county's public art associated with capital improvement projects. And this is me digging deep into my brain. When we last met, there were a lot of things on the table. And I think they're still kind of being juggled. Some of it having to do with small bits of public art being placed in people's offices.
That's in our packet.
Yeah.
Well, that's for me. I just wondered if because that's.
Maybe I can explain what these are. So these are the minutes from the last commission meeting where they acted on your recommendations of the subcommittee. So this happened back in August of 2025. So the minutes show what the commission recommended is like, let's see, that was under section 5. Wait, is it 5?
Right,
No.
yeah, 5.1.
Right, and so that's what they recommended back to the subcommittee.
So that's what we recommended back to the subcommittee. I think, if I recall correctly, the first 2 were accepted by the full commission. I think that create the updated list every 2 years it required more discussion, and given what it does require by the full commission, because we don't want to, in this time of tight budget, stress resources that are maybe being filled by another organization. And I'm thinking about San Diego Art Matters and the collection of artists that they're calling for. This would have been the open enrollment and the maintenance of that database is a huge huge project.
But these are just public artists,
Yes,
just that, not the
That's-
full. art
it's
matters.
just public
Yeah.
artists. Oh, you're right. People
Yeah.
who are willing to do public art,
Well,
people who are willing to do public art.
Can, just since we're in the refresher course phase,
Yeah,
it's been a
yeah,
minute since
exactly.
since we've been here.
I'm so glad to have this information.
So,
Thank you.
so did this August 15th meeting? Did this happen after we had that meeting, that public open with the
Yes.
consultant?
That was in December,
Okay, that was
Mhm.
and
December.
this was August.
Mhm.
Okay,
that was December. Your last subcommittee meeting was in April, and then this was August of 2025, and this is the last time
Okay,
the commission acted on it.
acted on it. Okay, thank you. So did we, from that meeting in December
Mhm.
with
The
the
consultants
consultants
and the public art people.
and the public art people, what did we do?
Put together this.
This is what came out of
And
that.
this is what moved forward to the commission,
Okay,
and this is what they responded to in that August meeting.
Right,
perfect.
so these are the suggestions and here's what they said. And this is a vote, so this is official from the
Mhm.
commission. Okay, so regardless of our list, we have to go with what the commission approved.
Yes,
Correct.
and also, yes, but we can also.
But in the future, things can still be brought forward. So they continue using public art consultants for art and new capital projects, which is happening, right?
Yeah.
Gather a list of artists, updated every 2 years. That needs work.
It needs a lot of work.
So is this the first, I wasn't at this meeting, but this first open call for artists, is that because sometimes there was not an open call?
Yes,
Sometimes it was just,
Because
Sometimes
they
the
send
art
to their
consultant-
existing list.
yeah, the art consultants,
just.
and I
use
don't
their
know
list.
way back historically, I just know when I became part of this commission. And one of the public art consultants used her existing list, but she also did solicit from the team that was on the selection team, do you know of anyone else? But it was definitely not an open call.
Okay,
Then the next two were open calls.
okay.
And a different art consultant. And so, there's great things about open calls and they're super labor intensive. So there's super hard things, but the great things are you get amazing community investment in the public art that you're putting up because it went out to the community. You may find artists that that weren't on your list that you didn't know about.
Okay.
So
And then do we have a list of vetted public art consultants that we can give to contractors?
Maybe I can give you a little context,
Mhm.
so. Most municipalities, most local governments that facilitate public art programs use different methods of solicitation of artists depending on, the circumstances or timeline, things like that. The most probably used process in the field is request for qualifications through an open process or sometimes a pre-qualified list, which is, I think, what's being considered here is gathering a list of artists. So, but usually sometimes it depends on the budget, sometimes again, it depends on timeline. So I think we need to spend a little bit of time. I'm obviously looking at all of this to better understand how things are working at the county now and how we can think about and try to create some standardization in terms of how we solicit artists, whether that's through a request for qualifications. Right now, I see that a lot of times it's through an RFQ and then an RFP process. And then, whether we do open competitions, limited by geography sometimes, or other types of eligibility, or do kind of a combination and have a pre-qualified list for certain projects under certain threshold. So I can tell you I'm looking at that now. I don't have a definitive concept in mind to share back with all of you, but based on that, your interest in this, I'm definitely looking into that.
thank you. Were you able, or can you, do you think, talk with Leah Goodwin and
Gail
Gail
and Naomi.
and Naomi?
I've
Even,
talked to all three
oh,
independently
good,
already.
thank you, okay. They have a lot of good
Mhm.
informed ideas about Thank you very much. That's really helpful.
So
Okay,
so public art projects are continuing with general services. And they must have a list, wouldn't you think?
No, right now, my understanding is, the way it's working, is that basically, a general contractor subcontracts to a public art consultant of their choice. And then basically the public art consultant facilitates the process, and that it hasn't been consistent depending on the consultant used. And so, what I would like to look at is how we can maybe standardize some of that and facilitate it so there's consistency. Perhaps maybe it's clarified so artists know what to expect when these types of solicitations goes out, and just professionalize it overall from a county perspective.
and also, thank you, because that's what we wanted to see too.
Mhm.
It also creates transparency in the process, which, sometimes we take a big hit on that one. Like, how, I didn't hear about this.
Exactly, and
I
so,
didn't know about this.
yeah,
How
that's
come
an
I didn't
important
know
aspect.
about
Would
this?
your recommendation, Christine, be that for each project there be an RFQ, or there just be one general RFQ like we want every 2 years?
well, I think I need to better understand like how many, the volume, right, of these types of capital improvement projects. There isn't a huge volume of them.
Mhm.
So starting to think about planning ahead and trying to better understand what the look ahead is over a year or a couple of year periods. How many can we expect? And that might help us identify what is the most appropriate way to solicit artists.
Right.
Because, pre-qualified lists are really great when you have a large volume.
Mhm.
They can also be good if you don't want to go out every time, but I think we just need to kind of understand the volume and then figure out, and we don't have to choose one or the other. We can have multiple methodologies.
Well, and it also depends on how difficult that RFQ process, so over the past 3 years, we've had several that have come up, I've sat on
Two at least.
2, 3.
Felicia's on one, I've been on three.
So, but then there seems to be a little bit of a lag,
there's a
maybe
lag.
not a lot coming up.
Yeah,
So to ask these artists to go through an RFQ process for maybe
3 a year, maybe.
2 a year, like that might not be the most
Exactly.
equitable
Mhm.
or reasonable way to approach it, even if we do wanna have,
Mm.
a list, maybe each time we do this process, they are added to a list once they qualify. But to have to be on the list in order to, I don't know.
be considered.
Yeah,
It's-
it seems like people are gonna end up missing
it's
out
still-
because they didn't apply 2 years ago.
Right.
So would that mean that each project has an open call?
Yeah,
Mhm.
possibly. I mean, that's, like I said, different municipalities do it different ways, and a lot of them are dealing with a huge volume of capital improvement projects. In my experience at the city of San Diego, we, in the past, when I worked there, it was just open calls typically was the process.
Sure.
LA County uses a combination of open calls, sometimes RFQ RFPs, as well as a pre-qualified list. They have a big volume.
Sure.
So, those are the types of things that we'll look at and better understand. I also want to better understand the county's procurement process and try to understand how arduous that is, because that might help us determine the best methodology as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sort of on this, for this fiscal year. Were you able to find out if that fire department project is gonna qualify for some funding?
That's
The Fallbrook one,
And I don't remember what part of the county.
they're
it's in.
supposedly getting.
Okay, wait a second. The last time we talked together, the answer was no.
Hmm.
And then you said you were looking into it some more. So I was wondering what you found out.
I don't have anything yet.
Okay.
So, what I'm trying to facilitate is a look ahead. To
Okay, thank you.
understand what might be, trigger the requirement, and then when are those going to be ready for us to consider solicitations for artists?
When Jim this one I remember pretty well, because I had done the research on it. And I asked at more than one meeting if we could confirm. I asked Stephen, could we please confirm? Because the capital budget was 17 million and I thought the trigger was 10 million. And you said, yes, it is. And, and still per whatever. There's been no request for a member of the commission to sit on any selection committee or.
It's too early in the process.
Is that
from my
right?
understanding.
Okay, that could be.
Yeah, so-
That's how it is, that's how it is.
And sorry, I'm gonna go way back to the very beginning, when we rewrote the public art policy. I know there was talk, new construction, and then there was talk of renovations. Did the renovations get pulled out of the public art policy?
We didn't, I thought they were open to that.
I thought they were too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still in.
It's still in there.
It's-
And
it's still
there's the
in backwards
financial-
improvement
Right.
project.
Okay,
I'm pretty
okay,
sure Edgemore is a renovation and I'm sitting on Edgemore. so-
Yeah.
okay, okay. I just, again,
Yeah, they
it's
were-
been a minute.
I'm sorry.
since-
Acumba Fire Station is,
That's it, thank you.
it's a
Is it in District Two?
Acumba is just.
Because
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
Yeah.
looked for
Yeah.
capital investments in the whole entire county. I probably
Yeah.
was just looking at District Two.
Yeah. It is Acumba slated for completion in 2027.
But just to clarify that the public art set aside accessibility hasn't been clarified yet, so that's what I'm expecting right now.
Okay, I kind of had trouble hearing what you were saying.
So I'm just still looking into applicability for that.
Okay, thank you so much. That, I just didn't, thank you. I was concerned that sometimes maybe in the past, could something have fallen off the list because, and by past, I mean, before there ever, in the 30-year gap where there was no commission. Could something have fallen off the list that maybe, but I don't care. I just wanted to know going forward. Does District Two get some more art? Do District Two artists get paid to produce some more art? That's what I want to know. Okay, thank you so much for being on top of that. And I was really happy when I asked you about it. We were at the ribbon cutting and you knew already, like you told me, and I was like, wait, you know about that? I was so happy. Oh my God, this is a good and wonderful thing. Okay, I would like us to talk or begin talking about the BARA rights waiver agreement for public art contracts.
Oh, is that the next one? Can I just,
Oh, so sure.
since we're
Is
still
there
on this
anything
one,
else?
well, so there's a. Sentence in here that is works that may be purchased for public and non-public spaces such as staff offices. So we've been talking about, the public art, the process for, new art.
Mhm.
Is there a policy for if just like art on the walls in
Not currently.
not
Not
currently?
currently, yeah, and that doesn't look like that made the recommendations in the
Gotcha.
commission.
It was something that could, it wasn't, I remember that because it was not,
Oh,
it wasn't even fleshed out very well by those asking for it, which were people who had offices and they would like to put art in their offices. And sort of like, it wasn't clear what's the ask.
Yeah.
So we couldn't recommend anything because we're not sure what the ask is. In concept, we think that, I thought it would be great if we were involved, but if it's too, as you said, arduous for the county to pull that off. Okay, so there was no process yet. It was just, I think the whole ask was, could the Art and Culture Commission be involved in getting art for our offices? I think that was about. And
Well, and I don't know that the commission needs to be involved in that because that seems like it's gonna slow everybody down quite a bit.
Mhm.
My more concern is I know that Zhang was working on like a list of all of the art that
That's a
was
big one.
in different places
Yeah.
throughout the county, like what is the,
What is
current-
it and where is it?
Inventory.
So maybe,
Inventory.
yeah, maybe I can share a little bit about
yeah,
the
so if you
work
know,
that I'm
yeah,
doing.
okay, perfect.
So, since I arrived, I've been trying to do a little bit of assessment on how things work at the county when it regarding the public art process, but also just in terms of art assets that the county owns. And so a comprehensive inventory, does need to take place.
Okay.
And so we're looking at, what does that look like? What does that entail? you know, any cost implications for that, but that is something that's being looked at right
Okay.
now.
Yeah, and I think that in my mind, and you know, this is just me, not anybody, but in my mind, once we have that list. And then if there's, you know, this list of artists who would be willing to create work for offices. You know, that might be a nice thing to have as an option, so that if somebody is, gosh, we need paintings, and instead of buying hotel art, let's invest in local artists to create something, you know. So that would be something that I would like to see in, you know, in a process that would be, you know, accessible and easy for everybody involved, not arduous, not the commission needs to approve it or anything like that, but just, you know, a process that we can help people who are.
Access that process, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and it needs to be looked at as an overall, you know, collection, and what does that look like in terms of acquisitions? There's different methods for acquisitions as well as accession, and what is that process? So those are the things that I'm looking at, and that will require, you know, potential procedures, potential policy adjustments and things like that down the line. As
We have nothing as yes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you give an example of process for accession? Any old example that you're familiar with.
Well, I mean, obviously collections in general, in our collection, there's different ways a collector, so to speak, whether it's a museum or a government, or, you know, there's different ways that people purchase things, or they commission things, or there's transfers and exchanges of things, or there's donations of things. And so there's different method, you know, purchase or commissions in terms of acquisition. Once an acquisition, you know, is determined, it goes through an accession process. An accession process is actually bringing an acquisition into a collection, right? A formal collection with a number. So it's accounted for with an accession number, and then it becomes part of an overall collection, right? So that's what we need to start and better understand what the county has. And then we need to start building out some policies and procedures around that.
So am I correct in thinking that that process has not been developed and you're still researching kind of what has been happening?
That's right.
Hit or miss?
Yeah, it's just haphazard.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're just exploring, you know, there's a good basis, so what can we
Right.
build on, what can we continue to evolve and, you know, grow here.
Okay.
And if you had to guess the length of time for that, like to get the information, the list of what we currently have, are we talking, you know, a year? Are we talking 3 years? Like, do you have an idea of where we are within that process?
I can't really speak to that yet, because a lot will depend on having some resources in
Okay.
order to be
Yeah.
able to facilitate
That
that.
makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe an intern project.
Mhm. Yeah,
Things like that aren't high level, yeah.
Yeah.
Going through the building, identifying what is county property is number one.
yeah, and doing
Mhm.
condition assessments as well.
Making sure it doesn't go with an employee.
Go away, exactly,
I've seen
yeah.
some tempted like.
Oh, this has been hanging in my office for years.
Exactly, it's mine.
That just, a few years ago happened at a
So,
nonprofit hospital, actually.
all right, so I just, because the commission
Yeah,
approved the recommendation, approved recommendations, they didn't approve the full list.
Correct.
Okay, in fact, they didn't, unfortunately, it's item B on our topic, they did not approve us moving forward with Vera at all.
they did too.
It's not on this
It's
list.
it's right here.
Oh, is it somewhere else?
Ask subcommittee to research parameters for open
Exactly.
calls for public,
Okay, I was
It's
looking at
as
this.
well as Vera
Well,
waivers.
wait a But then, why didn't it get listed under action?
Because they wanted the subcommittee to dive
Do
deeper
more, right.
and
That's
come back with
exactly
more
correct.
information.
That's
And then
exactly
these were the
correct.
things
There
that
was
they
nothing
felt.
anybody could
So
vote
it's
on at this point.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
open,
Alright.
it's
Excellent.
on
I
our
said,
work
oh, no,
list,
no.
on our to-do list,
Okay, no.
which is a great segue into the next item.
Okay. So, here's the thing, we have, because it doesn't look like we're going to be signing any contracts this year. Maybe not. This is a good time to see if we could do a little bit more work, and I know you already have been doing some work on this. My work on this has basically been to keep my supervisor apprised. And that's about it. I haven't, I know what the county contract looks like. I know what the Vera waiver looks like. I don't have it memorized. And I know that it is not, in my opinion, an equitable process for all artists that we are trying to get to come in. But what's your take based on your research?
So the agreements are obviously an agreement between the county and the artists, and it's specific to copyright in Vera. Because the county doesn't have like direct artist agreements for the actual commissioning of artwork right now. Those are subcontracts through the public art consultants. So then this is agreement that's specific to some of the copyright, as well as moral rights. Moral rights are under Visual Artist Protection Act and California Art Preservation Act. So those are two things that relate to moral rights. So I've done a review of the current agreement. There's which I think could align better with best practices. So I'm exploring what those possibilities are. Typically standard in the public art field is that copyright is retained, ownership of copyright is retained by an artist, and an entity has a non-commercial license to reproduce. So I'm exploring the possibility of that. Typically, and of course, looking at different peer jurisdictions too. Generally, peer jurisdictions do require some type of Vera waivers. That's pretty standard in government, and so that's a little different than copyright. So, but exploring what the possibilities might be to evolve the agreement here right now.
Do you think that, because I'm thinking ahead a little bit to when we should have our next meeting. And there's no point in having a meeting if the research that needs to be done can't be done in that quick of a time. Do you kind of have a sense of when you would be able to give us something to look at?
Well, I sometime this summer, probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's faster than I thought. That's great. Wow. So if we made a meeting in, say, August,
I think that would be some
Maybe. Okay, so we'll put that later, but, oh, I didn't think it would be possible that quick. That's really, thank you.
I mean, that's
so
my
much.
hope.
And if it can't happen, it can't happen, but that's a big, that's a huge impediment. And we got feedback from artists. We got feedback from the public art consultants we've worked with over the last 3 years, that there are people who simply will not or cannot afford to sell their work to the county. Especially it seemed like the cutoff was if it's less than 5,000 and you take my copyright away. I need to be able to reproduce that work. I need to be able to reproduce images and sell them and make t-shirts and that seems to be.
I ran into all these same problems when I was with Encinitas. We did Caltrans projects and they just rolled right over the artist rights completely. I put up 50 5-foot mosaics under an undercrossing and nothing, that was my big project with them. And so it was quite enlightening. And that was the pervasive government attitude, that they just bulldoze over every aspect of Vera. So what you're identifying is that because copyright is very much specific in the Vera, list. So we're saying, just give us copyright, because it's the litigation issues. They're all frightened to death that there's going to be some ties to an artist when we want to get rid of this, there's damage or whatever. They just see lawsuits. And so if we're only asking for copyright, just let the artists retain their copyright and let them reproduce it. If they want to make, images or whatever, or they, does that also allow them to reproduce the artwork in its originated state? Right, doesn't it?
Well, you mean actually physically replicated?
Yeah, if they want, because
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is that they're unique, but other works can be created by an artist that are somewhat similar, right? Yeah.
If it's their aesthetic, it's their aesthetic, they're very unique look.
This is what I heard over and over too, what Jim is saying is from artists. And then also from artists through the art consultants, it's the copyright issue. It's not even the issue of you get to use images of my work for advertising. You know, good, use images of my work for advertising. I'm not gonna argue with you about that. It's you telling me I can't. That's the part that came up again and again
So the
and again.
current county contract with artists, you said that, so for instance, with the animal shelter. In the end, is the contract between the artist and the county?
So just to clarify, there's an agreement that's specific to just copyright, intellectual property
Okay.
rights. And moral rights, so moral rights are the VERA and the CAPA waivers that I was just referring to, so there's an agreement specifically for that.
Okay.
And so that agreement right now is what we're evaluating to see what might be able to evolve.
Okay, gotcha.
And how does the city of San Diego deal with Vera?
The city of San Diego's standard protocols are that the artist retains copyright. The city of San Diego receives a non-commercial license to reproduce for non-commercial purposes. And if there's any commercial purpose, that is handled by a separate agreement at a later date. Never had to facilitate
Mhm.
anything like that when I was at the city, except once for a calendar that the artist was paid in a separate agreement. So that's standard. And then the typical, waivers for moral rights, they are typically waived amongst jurisdictions, whether it's San Francisco, LA, San Diego. That's in across the country. That's pretty standard in case there is, but there's certainly steps that are outlined in an agreement to notify an artist before there's any type of potential,
Selling of the work.
yeah,
or
that will
removal.
destruction of a work potentially if it's embedded in a wall or something. As well, so there's notification process outlined as well as an opportunity for an artist to remove their name from an artwork if they're not happy, if something happens and there's a modification
Right.
or a change of the artwork. So those are typically the standard kind of contracts that I see across municipalities. So just exploring what the possibilities are to evolve that here at the county.
Nice.
So that means that in the instance of the city, if they want to reproduce that image in any form, they have to request that of the artist.
If it's for
If it's
commercial.
commercial.
For
If it-
commercial only.
Yeah.
So
And we're gonna make
yeah.
a million t-shirts off your art and sell them in our gift shop.
Okay, that's interesting. Do you think the county would agree to that?
I
We'll have to pose it to
I
them.
am just exploring it, so I don't really
Okay,
have any
thank you.
answer.
Yeah.
At least,
And that seems, at face level, that seems like the most logical, if you're not making money on it, that's different. That's, advertising if it's in the front of the building
Yeah.
and we're replicating something.
Exactly.
Picture in front of the building, we shouldn't have to go back, but we want to put it on a t-shirt and sell it in the gift shop,
That's a different thing.
then there should be a consideration to the artist.
there's
Like, it
also-
seems very fair.
And also there's
Balanced.
the county saying, we can, but you can't, or they're not saying we can. The county never said we can. The county said you can't. So people that are making money,
you mean the
Like-
artist can't.
the artists can't, I'm sorry, the artists can't. There are plenty of artists, myself included, who use digital images of their work in other mixed media processes. There is no way I'm gonna sell to the county and get that right taken away from me. And they all tend to be artists who make much less money per piece. So that's the class equity part. And we are trying to get those artists. I mean, the two projects I was on. Well, with the one I'm on right now, Edgemore, definitely, we're looking at people under 1,000. Artists that are gonna get less than $1,000 for their work. So each artist is gonna be different about what they think they could make. Is it better to be owned by the county or whatever? But if we can resolve it so everyone's happy, wouldn't that be a good thing?
Well,
Oh, come on, we can't.
no, I think this is a win-win.
Yeah, that's what I think.
If we
If
get
we
this.
can make this a win-win, it would be
What
terrific.
was interesting though in our meeting, our first meeting where we had general services staff, the two managers, and we posed these ideas. And remember our previous lawyer was there as
Yeah,
well,
I do.
and it was just like this concerted effort to push it back completely.
Yeah.
There wasn't
It
any
was
openness
almost like
to,
they got socked in the gut.
well, there wasn't any openness to even saying, hey, why can't they just retain their copyright? Those questions were posed, but yes, there was just a general nothing about Vera attitude, so that's what we're coming against, and I would,
And-
even though there might be changes in the general services managers, I don't even know if those two guys are still with the.
There's been changes, I think.
Yeah, so we don't know what their attitude might be, but is this more of a general services issue or a legal issue with the county?
Well, I think I'm still kind of
You're finding-
understanding all this.
Yeah.
Cause I think it's equal to both, probably.
I think,
And
that-
then-
I think when we brought it up way back, I think that they didn't expect it. And when you don't expect something that could affect what you can do with county property and your general services, what's your first reaction gonna be?
Mhm.
No.
Mhm.
Okay, and we were kind of at the part of, and I understand that, no.
Right.
So I think we're at the point now where we can give them more information, address their concerns. A lot of their concerns were really about, their concerns were about maintenance, if it has to be removed. Stuff that is not the concern of the artists and their copyright. And so it was just. No, and I mean, literally, I got a full on look me dead in the eye and said, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. It's not gonna happen today.
Well, and I think too, I think with the research and with the
Right.
comparison to other municipalities.
Right.
With a voice on the
That's it.
inside
Yeah.
of
yeah,
the county as
Thank you.
opposed to, you know, the outside
doesn't know?
commission saying.
Yeah, this is
know.
what you do, right?
I think we have a lot of things going for
The
us.
timing is better now, the resources are better now to readdress this. Thank you again. Thank you for readdressing it. It's important. It's important. Anything else about, do you have a staff report? You've kind of been giving us staff
I do
reports as we're
have a
going
staff
along.
report.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, it's just an update of some of the other projects, the other public art projects,
Yeah.
right, that are, so you've already touched on the grand opening. For the Eastern Region Crisis Unit. So just to refresh your memories, Casa de Oro, that library project is under construction. So I think there's 7 artists that have been commissioned.
And that's
three.
Felicia's project, right?
That's Felicia's, I think, yeah.
There's 7 artists that are affiliated with that project, so they're kind of in different stages of installation right now. So, and I would suspect that the, opening of the library will happen sometime this summer.
Oh, good.
So I'll keep you updated, but there's interior works, there's exterior works by a number of artists of the region involved with that project. And then the Santee Animal Shelter, that is under construction
That's you,
as
right?
well.
Yeah.
So my understanding still is that there's one kind of larger commission work and then a number of smaller kind of
Mhm.
purchased works.
Yeah, there's a sculpture
Right.
that's out in
Mhm.
front. And then I believe one of the paintings was a commission, the larger one, it's sort of animals doing human things, super cute.
Mhm.
That was a commission, and then I think the other ones were purchased or reproduced from
Mm.
an artist's original.
And then, as far as I know, that's gonna open sometime after Labor Day.
Okay.
So, we'll keep you posted, on what that looks like in terms of timing. And then the Edgemore Acute Psychiatric Hospital, so, the groundbreaking happened in March.
It did.
And so there's 2 artists that are being commissioned for, doing murals for that project. So I think
there's smaller work being commissioned as well.
Well-
We looked at an awful lot of small pieces.
yeah, I'm
Or maybe
only,
I'm wrong. I
I'm
don't know.
only aware of two murals.
Yeah, and I could be wrong.
But,
I don't know.
so we'll learn more.
Yeah.
But that project's supposed to be completed sometime in 2027.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that are in progress right now.
We do have, as the commission has a responsibility to show up for those ribbon cuttings. And I'm trying to be more mindful of when they'll be and be in the communication loop. Jim, I think you've been really helpful with that. Because you're getting it communicated to you, you're getting it communicated to you. That communication thing kind of had fallen by the wayside.
Well,
And
and we all got invited to the recent ribbon cutting.
yeah, everybody got nobody gets invited and one person got disinvited to, you're all invited. So,
My goal is to always send out
that is
those
helpful.
types of invitations ahead
Very
of time
helpful. Yeah,
and make sure that everybody's aware.
I think what I'm hearing is that a lot of, more transparent streamlining of processes is in our future, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for that.
Do we
Really
know-
grateful for that, Stephen, any way you play in it.
We know what projects are upcoming, we know
That's
about
what
the
I
fire
don't-
station, perhaps.
That's what I
Yeah.
don't know. That's what I'm looking into is what the possibilities are as capital projects come online. So I don't have
Yeah.
that crystal ball yet.
And I remember Renee talking about that the funding for a new fire station in Fallbrook had been,
I
set
wasn't
up
sure.
like a year plus ago, so maybe
Yeah.
that's at some point
Yeah.
gonna come.
Yeah,
along.
sometimes capital projects, just kind of, obviously, they're very, very early identified and it sometimes depends on when they actually, they're planned
Mhm.
for years and years before they actually
Right.
it's time to bring in a potential architect or artist. So that's what I'm looking into as to where we are with some of those kind of projects in the planning.
We finally have one in District 5.
Yeah,
Haven't been
that'd be
any,
nice.
nothing.
There's been a lot in
You
districts
guys
too.
too.
Districts two has been
Districts, yeah.
busy, yeah,
Two and
really
4.
busy and still busy. And for one of the things I'm gonna ask, I wanna ask you if this is correct, because I didn't know how word was getting through and things weren't necessarily streamlined. I felt like I was having to do a lot of reading of capital gains budgets, capital project budgets that were like not the best use of my time as a commissioner. Do you think I could drop that now?
I mean, that's usually a staff type function. It's
Hello.
my experience,
Thank you for calling out what I'm trying to, so delicately not to throw out there. If I could drop that now, that would really be helpful because I really feel it's important for us to be out in front of the public. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of gasoline, and I think it's extremely important. And the more we do, the more we're trusted. And so that I would really like to drop that. Thank you.
So is
Don't have
that,
to do that anymore,
so
okay?
our really our continuing workload was the Vera
Yes,
issue and something about wasn't there an artist list?
artist list maybe,
It
but
said,
now we're not
review
sure.
it, ask for subcommittee to research parameters for open calls for public art as well as the Vera waiver. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, we're very fortunate in that Christine has more than
Exactly,
incredible experience and background in public art. I think we can really take a breather
yeah,
because so much of this is already in her skill set. And also it's now transitioning from our level to internal, which is staff.
just.
Because a
what we
lot of
needed,
this is just,
but-
a lot of this is structure, documents.
Right.
And a review of what the county does and just kind of catching them up to speed.
Yeah.
Like a collection policy and deaccession, all of these kinds of things. Which are not in existence. And the county does have some very wonderful two-dimensional art indoors.
Some amazing.
Has some great pieces. I know when you get into this, you'll see some interesting quality. You'll see some brilliant things in there, really, and where the councils or the supervisors are. So,
There was a beautiful piece of public art at the Kearney Mesa campus. I love this piece, the two heads looking at each other, great big thing. And it was just in the background of a photo shoot of something that had nothing to do, maybe it had to do with registering to vote, I don't know. It was like,
That
yeah,
piece is by June Kaneko.
yeah, that's right, thank you. I'm going, look at that, look at that. San Diego County owns that. Okay, so should we, I would like us to have a meeting on the books. Even if we can back off on some of this,
Well-
more research needs to be done, but
but it is a standing item on each agenda. So we do bring up whatever is current public art. So why don't we just let that
at the main meetings.
evolve and involve us as we have our
Okay.
meetings and Christine will, be able to
That
report.
was, and my next question was gonna be, what do you need?
So I
Do you
mean,
need to meet with us? Do you need to meet with us in subcommittee? Maybe I don't know, maybe we let the subcommittee go. Is that what you're thinking?
I think that we're going to have quite a different reality by the end of this
Okay.
process that's happening today.
I think you're right.
Where our energies are gonna be pushed into a tremendous workload that we have deadlines and fulfillment. My thought is, we've done the bulk of the work on public art, we have a public art administrator
Right.
par excellence here, let's let it happen.
And if we let go of the public, of this subcommittee,
Mhm.
then you would just update us when you have this information
Mhm.
and the full commission could just
Look at it.
look
Right.
at it. I don't,
Right.
I feel like you're gonna come up with recommendations and things that presented to the full commission would be easy to have a conversation and come to a
Right.
consensus.
Mhm.
Yes,
Not
and
that we have to have a
We don't,
pre-consensus
only
and
if
then,
you need it.
right?
I mean, I thought, only if you need it. We were doing work that to me felt like staff can do it, but we didn't have, the staff person appointed was awesome. She did a lot. But this was not in her toolbox. It was not in her wheelhouse at all. And so we're trying to fill in and we're on the fly too, because it's not in, it might be in some of our wheelhouses, but
Mhm.
not particularly.
Well, the
We
two
could-
recommendations that have been left dangling,
Yeah.
I think are in hand.
Yeah, it sounds
So-
like it to me too.
Yes, so my sense is, I think, and each ad hoc needs to do the project and then disband.
Yeah,
I think we're
Yeah.
at that
I
stage.
say we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do to make that happen?
So we have to vote to, right? We have to make it official?
I mean, you
Do we
can't,
have to go to the full commission to do that?
no, I don't think
because-
so. It basically, when you're done with your scope of work, so to speak, it just disbands.
So we would present it at the May 21 meeting and say,
That's what I
we
mean.
completed our work and we
We're done.
pass it off to staff and and things are good.
Okay.
I'm
I'm,
in agreement.
okay, I think so too. Thank you so much, both of you. Are we ready to adjourn? Is there any other business? Anybody want to ask anything else? Or say anything else?
And just for the record, I will comment that there were no virtual participants and or
I
public.
saw that too. Thank you for putting that in the public record, but I saw that one. Okay, you want to move that we adjourn?
I move that we will. Are to the chair?
You don't need to.
Oh,
You don't.
Yeah. Turn off the mic.
Meeting is adjourned.
We need to get you a gavel.
Yeah, really.